Well, welcome back everyone to the story of the prodigal son, the lost son. And you may remember last time we were imagining what it was like for that same boy to return to the village, to return to his father's house. And we have him run the gauntlet through the village, not knowing how his father would react. And this time I want to shift the perspective round and look at it from the father's perspective. A father back then had power and authority over his sons. He was to be respected and to be obeyed. What would everyone expect? Well, it was very simple. They would expect the son to endure his humiliation, to go to the door of the house, and then probably one of the servants would open the door, and then they would know whether he was rejected or accepted. It could well be that the father would come out and reject him in person, saying, "You are no son of mine, be gone. You have humiliated me and the whole family." Or it could be it was behind closed doors. The son is admitted, but he's then beaten by the father. And this would not be secret, because it would soon get out, the servants would know it, and it would be known what happened to the son. This is what the son deserved, and this is what was expected. And instead, what do we get? I've already described how the father would have had prior knowledge that the son was there. And so what does he do? He comes out of the house, runs down the equivalent of Standard High Street, with everybody watching, to greet his son in public. And he does more than just greet him. A Middle Eastern man back in Jesus' time would have run nowhere. He would have walked in a stately fashion as befitted his status. To run meant humiliation. He would have been wearing, of course, what's known as a dishdasha, a long Arabic Jewish robe, and to run you have to hitch it up, which was humiliating. Public humiliation, and he doesn't care. In fact, he does care. He cares so much about his son that he will endure whatever people think to greet his son. Now, this is a wonderful story of a father's love, but we have to understand what this means for Christians today. One of the criticisms of this parable, and it's a very wrong criticism, is that Jesus does not appear in the parable only the Father. There is no sense of the Son who came to die for us. And it's untrue, because at this point we see Jesus the Son. What do I mean? Well, when the Father leaves his home, it is the equivalent to the Father, the divine presence, coming to earth. We call that the Christmas story, the birth of Jesus. How God was willing to humiliate himself in his created world so that he could come to us. He was willing to grow up as a human boy, teenager and adult. He was willing to go through that humiliation of just being human. And then he was willing to go through the humiliation of being betrayed, condemned and crucified. Just for you and for me. This is what the Father running down the village portrays. It is him coming to us in sacrifice and humiliation for you and for me. The Son went to the far country and came back, but the Father's journey was far longer, even though it was only a short distance, because it entailed giving everything for the sake of his Son, whom he loved. Let's pray. Father, thank you that you came as Jesus to us, our divine Lord, and he died for us so that we could be forgiven.